Welcome to another video. Today we are going to be talking about distilled water. First of all, I am not a doctor. I am not here to give you medical advice. This is just something that I have been experimenting with on my own body, and these are my experiences with it and how I feel about it. So this all started probably in March. So like 3 or 4 months ago. An online friend of mine had sent me a link to a video about distilled water and the fountain of youth and all of this stuff. And prior to that, I had been drinking distilled water at work usually, and I just felt like when I was drinking really cold distilled water, it gave me so much more energy. It just felt very like pure, and I felt a little bit more high vibe. It was a very nice, clear-minded feeling, and I felt that it gave me more energy. So at work a lot, I would drink distilled water all day. However, I've always kind of heard that distilled water isn't the best thing for you to drink because you're not getting the minerals that you need, etc., etc. So in my head, even though I really liked the way that I felt when I was drinking the distilled water, the whole time I was planning on still continuing to drink regular water, just supplementing both of them together so that I would never be depleted of my minerals. So fast forward to I get this YouTube video to watch, and I'm gonna link this for you guys because it's a crazy video. There's so much information in it, and it's like an hour and a half long, I think. I made it to 32 minutes and I stopped watching it. I was already convinced, and I was like, I'm going on a distilled water fast. And this was right before the whole pandemic situation. So I think I was doing it for less than a week, and then all of a sudden everything shifted to me being worried about getting groceries and if I'm going to be working and just all of this stuff, and it just didn't seem like the right time for me to dive into this. Over the weeks, things got a little less panicky, things felt a little more normal, so I did start experimenting with the distilled water quite a bit. And I guess before I tell you what my experiences were, I'm going to tell you a few of the things, just a few facts about distilled water. A lot of them are things that I learned in the video. It's really fascinating, and yeah. So the thing about distilled water is it's almost completely free of minerals and contaminants. So yes, you're not getting minerals from the water, but you're also not getting the bad stuff in the water. And if you don't know, there's so much stuff in our water that does so many things to your body. If you know anything about the pineal gland, and that's your third eye, and it being calcified mainly from fluoride, things in your water, and that makes it incredibly hard to do so many things that we should be able to do. So I will say in the beginning of the video, it is a little bit weird. Dude is talking about urine therapy, and you just have to stick with him through that because you get to the distilled water stuff after he explains the science behind all of that and all of the wonderful things it can do for the human body. And using that or distilled water, it literally cures everything in your body because you're cleaning your body from the inside out. As you go through life, there's all these poisons around us, right? Everywhere, not only in our water, but in our food, in the air. We are always putting stuff onto our bodies, chemicals and detergents and makeup and everything. You're just over the years like piling in toxins in your body. You know how babies have that like wonderful, sweet, fresh smell? Like that is where we all come from, but then we just get filled up with these poisons and toxins, and after a while you get used to living like this, but this is not the like optimal way that your body can function. So this guy, he has been studying this for years and years and years. So he has a lot of actual scientific evidence to back it up. He has a whole document of things written by doctors and people who actually know what they're talking about. There have been so many studies on this. He has testimonies of thousands of people the way that this has helped them. So it's definitely a real thing. Scientifically, he goes into the whole thing of the negative and positive charges of water and other particles that could be in your body. So distilled water, since it's not already carrying minerals, when it's going through your body, it can pick up all of the excess because of the magnetization and help flush it out of your body. Spring water and things like that already have these minerals in them, so like their bags are already full, so they can't vacuum up anything else from your body. So that is why, on the broadest, most general terms that I can think of, that is the scientific way that it actually works. One thing that he talks about that really like stuck with me, because I've seen it in myself, is he's talking about alchemy and how distilled water is actually, or not just distilled, but just like pure clean water is alchemy. And how people talk about turning lead into gold, you're talking about turning gray into gold. And he starts comparing people's bodies, people's like auras and their energies as the gray and the gold. Like we're all walking around in this kind of like grayness, and when you get healthy and when you start detoxing, then you start like glowing, and that's when you become gold. So you're going from like a gray energy to a gold energy. And that really stuck with me because I really do feel better when I'm drinking it. So over these few months that I've been experimenting with it, I would go like a week and a half drinking only distilled water, and then I would drink regular water for a day, and I would take note of all the things that I felt. So then I would go like another 7 days drinking just distilled water, and then drink regular water, and then I would go 2 weeks drinking only distilled water, and then take a day of regular water. So by doing that over and over, I really noticed the patterns. Like they were super obvious to me. Every single time I had the regular water. And the number one hugest thing I noticed was my allergies. I have terrible allergies, and there are all kinds of ways that I have found over the years to keep them under control with like vitamin therapy and apple cider vinegar and different like elderberry teas that I would sip throughout the day. There's so many ways to combat this, but all of those things are still taking a step to do something. It's still something that I have to do every day. Well, drinking the distilled water cleared up my allergies by 85%. Like usually when I wake up in the morning, I'm so stuffy and I'm sneezing for the first 2 or 3 hours that I'm awake, constantly blowing my nose, and that's just how life has been for me. I'm just used to it at this point. I couldn't believe it when I was drinking the distilled water and they cleared up. And I experimented with this so many times with the distilled water, not distilled water, distilled water, not distilled water. Every single time I drank regular water, the next morning when I woke up, all the pressure was back, all of the sneezing and the everything, it was back. That's the number one thing that has changed with me doing this. Also, like I said, the energy thing. I have so much more energy when I'm drinking distilled water. It's insane the amount of energy I have. And I don't know if this like goes along with this or if this is a separate thing, but my mood, I had no idea drinking water, a certain type of water, could completely change your mood. And I didn't notice this until maybe the third time that I went back to regular water, because it's not something that was even on my radar to consider that would be different. But by the third time, it was so obvious to me that I was just a little bit like angry on those days. You just don't feel as good overall. And again, that's why the guy talking about the whole aura thing spoke to me so much, because I feel that. I really feel it. Another thing it really helped was my skin. My skin feels amazing, and I For the past, I don't know how long, couple of years, I've been struggling with dermatitis on my face a little bit, and certain things make it flare up. I've figured out a few foods that really just get my skin inflamed and things like that. But since I've had my first huge breakout, it's always been just like a little bit under the surface. Like I have to be so careful with it because if it does get inflamed again, it takes forever to heal. And so it's always just like a little bit sensitive right here. Like I said, just it feels like it's right under the surface. If I feel like it's gone right now. Like with this water, I just don't feel that underlying like itchiness anymore. And it's not like I'm gonna go eat those foods that I know are going to inflame it, but at the same time, like just day to day, not having that irritating little feeling is really amazing. So I definitely think that it has made my skin so much happier too. And kind of like I touched on when I was talking about the energy, in how much more energy I have, I also have such a clear mind. Like it's like all the fog is taken out of your mind and you can focus so much more. And I'm really excited to continue to do this and see how it's going. So I have been doing this for a few months. I've noticed great changes. However, I have not been drinking a ton of water lately. Okay, so yesterday I decided I needed to watch the video before I made my video so I could remember all of the wonderful things that he teaches. And that's when I realized I had only watched 32 minutes of the video to begin with. So I decided to finish the video, and I still think I have maybe a few minutes left that I haven't finished, but when I was watching it, he was talking about the importance of drinking really pure water, but also drinking a lot of it. It's important to have a high, steady, consistent volume of water. He says to try to do a gallon a day, and within a few weeks, it's like you're living in the fountain of youth and everything just regenerates in your body and becomes magical. So I'm going to do that. I am going to be buying a water distiller. I've been researching them and I'm just trying to figure out which one is the best one for me. And then I am going to do at least 2 solid weeks of drinking a gallon of distilled water every single day. So I am going to keep you guys updated. I will do a whole video telling you about that. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that video. And I'm really excited about it to see what actually happens. I'm going to take a before and after picture of my skin, and I'm just really, really excited because feeling this good and not even like doing it right, I can't wait to see what I feel like when I do it right. So that's what's coming. I would really love to know if you guys have had distilled water. I know some people are not crazy about the taste of it. I've gotten used to it. It doesn't bother me. I think that all of the benefits far outweigh that part of it anyways, but I would love to know your opinions on it, and I would definitely recommend trying it even for a few days to see if you feel any differently. And like I said, I will keep you guys updated with how my journey progresses. Thank you so much for watching today, everybody. I hope you have such a great day.